Imagine trying to upgrade the operating system on a computer while like 1.4 billion people are actively clicking the mouse and typing on the keyboard.
That sounds terrifying, honestly.
Right, but I mean, that is exactly what India is doing right now with its entire democratic machinery.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a really comprehensive governance slide deck by Parveen Anaranjan just to see how this massive upgrade is actually playing out for you, the citizens.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy, really, because just like an old OS, you have this legacy code running right alongside shiny new software. And a great place to see this clash is, well, delimitation.
Which is the literal redrawing of electoral map boundaries, right?
Exactly. And this process is governed by the 42nd, 84th, and 87th constitutional amendments. They basically froze and then adjusted how political power gets distributed based on population.
Okay.
But right now, there is this massive tension between introducing like advanced new mapping technology and the age-old risk of political manipulation. Wait, okay, let's unpack this for a second. Because if we are using better tech and, granular data to map populations accurately, why is political manipulation still highlighted as such a huge risk? I mean, shouldn't the data solve the human bias?
You would think so, right?
Yeah.
But technology is, well, it's just a tool. When you have highly granular demographic data, officials aren't just drawing blind lines on a map anymore.
Oh, they know exactly who lives where.
Right. They can see exactly which street votes for which party. So this allows whoever is drawing the map to surgically pack or crack voting blocks to, guarantee a specific outcome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The better the tech, the more precise that gerrymandering can actually become. And obviously, that completely undermines public trust.
So the new software actually makes the old political bugs more efficient.
Exactly.
That makes total sense, but it also highlights why oversight is so critical here. And digital oversight seems to be the proposed patch for a lot of these legacy issues, like the Prevention of Corruption Act from 1988. The sources note it is just full of enforcement loopholes.
Yeah, human bottlenecks often lead to corruption. So to bypass them, the government is shifting really heavily toward digital platforms.
Like what kind of platforms?
Well, we're seeing systems like Pragati
Mm-hmm.
that tracks government projects in real time. Then there's Landstack, which digitizes these notoriously messy and, disputed land records.
Right.
And also Esenet, which is a secure network used to coordinate election management bodies.
Okay, so digital oversight sounds great for fixing those administrative loopholes. It's like patching a leaky pipe. But, speaking of actual leaky pipes, citizens ultimately judge a democracy by its physical reality.
Yeah, they really do.
Right. Like, can the government actually deliver basic survival needs to you? Because an app doesn't matter much if a rapidly expanding urban center doesn't have clean drinking water.
No, that is the ultimate test of this system upgrade. The deck highlights how inadequate infrastructure and severe pollution are just massive hurdles for urban water governance.
So how are they addressing that?
To tackle this, they have initiatives like AMU and the Jal Jeevan mission stepping in. And they aren't just laying pipes. They are trying to integrate community engagement to ensure safe drinking water actually reaches the tap. The hardware basically has to support the user.
I'm seeing a pattern here across these different sectors. We are treating systemic issues by launching new centralized platforms or boards.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Like the National Sports Governance Bill 2025 creates a national sports board. Plus, there is the Pankudi portal functioning as this hub for women's empowerment schemes. And even recent updates to the POCSO Act, which is India's primary legal shield for protecting children from sexual offenses.
All right. And those are critical modules of governance being updated to protect vulnerable groups.
Definitely.
Take the sports bill, for instance. That is a direct response to historical administrative mismanagement. It aims to ensure that funding and transparency actually reach the athletes rather than, just getting lost in the bureaucracy.
But here's what I am wondering. Does creating a new national sports board or a new digital portal actually solve the root problem? Or is it just another layer of bureaucracy?
That's a really fair point.
Right. Because with all these isolated apps and portals running simultaneously, is the upcoming 2027 census essentially going to be the master key? Like the moment where all these separate systems finally get a unified demographic picture of who the user actually is?
That is the crucial question. And yes, the Census 2027 will be pivotal. It is basically the foundational database refresh for the entire system.
Because they need the data.
Exactly. Without accurate demographic data, all those portals and boards are just operating in the dark. And this isn't just abstract policy for you listening.
Right, it affects everyday life.
Yep. When you apply for a permit online, when you cast your ballot, or literally when you turn on your tap, the integrity of this underlying operating system dictates the reality of your day.
Which really leaves us with one final thing to think about. We started by comparing this to a massive operating system upgrade.
We did.
But as governance increasingly relies on centralized digital platforms like Pragati and Estinet to run the country, what happens to democratic transparency if the technology running these systems becomes a black box that citizens can no longer easily audit? Imagine trying to upgrade